Republicans, when in office, use those electoral gains to strengthen their constituencies and weaken those of the opposition. And that seems to be a sort of long-term effect. It's not just we have our guys in this year and not in 2 years. This is a sort of systemic change. And if you look at the legislation that's going through state houses across the country, this is the way in which Republicans are truly changing the cultural, social, and political landscape in the U.S.
But I would also argue that part of the problem is that Democrats have not taken the fight to the American public. The American public's upset. They should be upset. Government's failed them. And yet you didn't see in Kentucky, you saw a Republican win by saying, I'm going to dismantle health care when 20% of the kids in Kentucky go to bed hungry, when 100,000 kids are going to lose their health care under this governor. I didn't see a Democratic candidate fighting for that. They concede family values to the Republicans. I'll challenge Republicans on family values. Poverty's not a family value. Hunger's not a family value. Lack of health insurance is not a family value. The Democrats have to go after these people. Kim Davis says, well, I'm doing what the Bible says. No, you're not. You're doing what the Old Testament says. Jesus said in the New Testament 40 times, if you believe, you're in. But the problem, I think, Alex, is Democrats aren't making the case. They're conceding the arguments to Republicans, particularly in rural areas and in the South, instead of taking the argument to them. When they're playing on that turf, on the Republican turf of letting the Republicans define the issues, that's what happens. So I don't disagree with anything that EJ said here, but I think it's the fundamental problem for the Democrats is much deeper. They've got to stand up and start reminding the American public what their programs have meant. That when kids in Kentucky are hungry, we're going to feed them. This governor, the governor-elect, wants to get rid of health care for 100,000 kids. We're not going to let that happen. That's not a family value. And yet the Democrats aren't saying it, and they wonder why they lose race.